My multimodal classical argument essay is on Native American health disparities in Oregon. So I have 7 photos and a link that I'm planning on using depending on how everything looks when I complete my draft. Some things might move around, but this is where I'm planning on everything going right now. So the first reason I have for my essay is that healthcare is rightfully owed to the Native American communities, not just because of the wrongs done to them in the past, but also because it's a treaty with the United States government. So I'm planning on using a link that's about 5 minutes and 15 seconds long that includes some short interviews from the 2010 documentary Don't Get Sick After June. That describes the Indian Health Service running out of money every year around that time. So if you get sick after June, you'll have no health care. A woman talks about how people accuse the Native American people of begging for money, but they're really just asking that the treaty be honored and that they are given what's rightfully theirs. I think this link provides a good short summary of some Native American people's feelings on this subject and puts some real faces to the statistics. My first photo I'm going to include in the same reason is a photo of the Shoshone Native American tribe from Oregon Trail around that time. I'm describing in that section of my paper. I think it gives a really good visual of what that looked like and paints a clear picture while I'm going into further detail about the atrocities committed against the Native American people of Oregon at that time. And then I'm not sure if my next 2 photos will be in my first or second reason, but my second reason is that it's simply the right thing to do for the Native American people as their citizens of Oregon, and Oregon should want to do what's right by their citizens. So the 2 photos are what Oregon looked like. The first photo is what Oregon looked like for the Native Americans then, and then what it looks like now. So obviously the land was inhabited by indigenous people. So the first map shows what that looked like and what tribes were in the Pacific Northwest. And then the second map is the tribes that are federally recognized in Oregon today and where they're located. At this time I mentioned broken treaties and stolen land, where I'm wanting to include those photos. The second reason is also where I'm going to include this photo. So this is a Native American woman with her grandmother who helped raise her. The grandmother is going into surgery to have her second leg amputation due to diabetes, and the pregnant woman is actually also having complications from diabetes, and the baby is growing too rapidly. So it's a high-risk pregnancy, which is really common in Native American people because of that health disparity, as is diabetes. So it's a really good visual aid to see the faces of the people who are affected. And I'm also going to include her story if I can make it fit, because it's a really perfect example of how these disparities affect Native American people in Oregon. And then my next 2 photos are going to go under the right thing to do as well. They're really just good visual aids of how Native American people are really lacking health insurance and the disparity of that, as well as a table showing a lot of facts that might seem bulky in a paper all next to each other if I were to list them. So it's a really good reference photo of more specifically what the exact statistics are. And then my third reason in this essay is that the coronavirus has illuminated these disparities so much, and it's really urgent and important that these disparities are addressed right now. So basically, the Native American people of Oregon are very likely to live in poverty, and this is a photo showing the comparisons and just basically how you're supposed to wash your hands if you don't have running water, or how you're supposed to get masks when you barely can even go to the doctor, or how are you supposed to socially distance when 1/3 of houses on reservations are overcrowded. So this poverty chart really shows why the coronavirus has been so impactful to these communities and can be further impactful. So that's all my photos. I'm going to include the link to the video. It's only about 5 minutes long if anyone's interested, in the description for this video. And let me know if you have any feedback on the link, any of these photos, or just general thoughts. Thanks for watching.